Hey everybody, welcome back to the Muay Thai Experience podcast. My name is Annie McConey. My next guest is Daniel Mini T Williams. He's probably one of the most entertaining and just crazy fighters hailing from Australia. In this podcast, we're going to go through Daniel's journey in coming up in the Australian ranks, moving to Thailand, fighting legends like Superlek and Rodtang, what it's like to fight in one championship. So if you like these podcasts, please make sure that you hit like, subscribe on the YouTube channel. Also follow us on Spotify, and yeah, hope you enjoy this episode of the podcast. All right, mate, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me, Ali. Good to have a chat with you. It was just funny because I was just saying that I thought I met you before, but turns out that we have the same history, being at the same Thai gym, and then we knew you had the same mutual friends, so it's cool to actually meet each other properly. And
small world, mate. Small world. So obviously, you've established yourself as one of the best fighters in Muay Thai in Australia, and then came over to Thailand. You've had wars with, Superlek, Rodtang. Your name's really out there. But let's go all the way back to the start. Where did the Muay Thai journey start? Where did you grow up? How did everything sort of begin?
Yeah, so as long as I can remember, I always wanted to do martial arts. My older brother, 3 years older than me, he was always into his martial arts, walking around in a gi all the time, and we watched the martial arts movies, so naturally fell into what was available in our sort of suburb in Australia. And then my mum's brother, so my uncle, was a Muay Thai fighter. We always heard those stories. Mum grew up with Muay Thai fighters training at her house, so naturally we always wanted to do Muay Thai, me and my brother. And then when it became available, when I was around 11 years old, I was doing Taekwondo, karate before that, ninjutsu. And then when that became available, we seen an advert at the local, our local sort of supermarket. It was with me and my brother and dad. He seen it, we're like, hell yeah, called him up straight away. And then we organised our first lesson when I was around 11 years old. And haven't turned back since.
Because I'm not surprised that there was somebody in your family that did Muay Thai, because it's like this with a lot of Thais, because you're half Thai, half Aussie, right?
Yes.
And John Pop, for example, John Pop, who owns Kit Von Tip in England, his son, when his son was a kid, I was thinking about this today, when his son was a little baby, he was kneeing the door and stuff, doing knees on the door. So it's probably a generational thing with Thais, how it's just passed down to you, it's in your blood kind of thing.
I feel that. I definitely feel that, because it's just so natural how everything's happened. I watch little family videos when I was born, I could just walk, mum is pushing me and my brother in together to have little fights with each other, and it's just it's kind of just feel it's so natural, falling into Muay Thai.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And then so how did you end up going to Khao Sok? Because WA, so Western Australia, where you're from, Perth, there's such a rich history of great Muay Thai gyms there. I mean, you've got Khao Sok, you've got the Pit, you've got Riddlers. There's a few others as well, but those are the ones that I'm really familiar with. How did you end up there?
Yeah, like you said, man, very blessed. I guess because Perth, being in Australia, Perth, the capital city, Western Australia, is the closest to Thailand. So it's easy for us to get to Thailand, and very strong sort of state, a lot of Muay Thai there, so I still believe it is the #1 martial art. Compared to all the martial arts, Muay Thai is still very strong. It's the #1 martial art in Western Australia, Perth. And there's just been so many fighters coming out of Perth, so it's easier to fall into it, find a good gym, because there's many good gyms, the ones you mentioned. And just to fall in it, it's been quite natural. So very strong state, a lot of good fighters come from there, and we're close to Thailand.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, how old were you when you had your first pro fight, or your first fight at all? I don't really know how it works in Australia, because in England you have interclubs, which is a sparring match against somebody from another gym, which there's no winner, no loser. And then I think now they've kind of do something called N class, which is where you can wear, I think it's elbow pads or shin pads, and they are decision fights. And then eventually you go into C class, which is five 3 rounds, not with knees to the head, not with elbows, and then B class, which is knees to head, no elbows, and then full Thai rules, A class. So what?
So Perth, Western Australia, very similar. So there is a Western Australian Commission now. So it is by law that you have to. So when you have your first fight, you have to wear the chest guard, the elbow pads, the shin pads up until your first 6 or something. It might have changed a little bit, but anyway, you have to have padded fights. But when I started, there was no commission, so it was kind of good. The first fight that I had was with no shin pads, and it was still modified Thai. So even though we asked for it, like the opponent, like, can we do elbows? But his gym said no. So it's kind of like a mutual thing. So your gym, you'd create the rules. All right, we've got 2 kids fighting. I was 15 at the time. So we'll do a Mod Thai fight. That's what the other gym approached us with. Like, yep, okay. And then, so I had a Mod Thai fight, which is basically Muay Thai without the shin pads, but we did have, headgear on, and then there was no elbows.
Okay.
So that was my first one. And then the second one I had was a bit more, it was full Thai rules, but it was no elbows again. And then the third one was full Thai rules, so I could do everything. So that's kind of how it went. It was just an agreement with the gym and who your opponent was.
Okay.
But now, if you want to fight in WA, it's, you have to have the shin pads, the chest gear, up until like 6 fights, I think. And then they, go from
No matter what age you are? Or is that for like the younger kids?
Yeah, I think, if you're under 18, you have to wear padded no matter how many fights you had. Until you turn 18, then they can start changing it. So, but pretty similar.
So how many professional fights do you think you had before you started coming to Thailand, before you started fighting out here full time?
I think about 8 or 9. I'd say about that, where it's been full Thai rules, 3 to 5 rounds. Yeah, about 8 or 9, and then I've had probably like 3 to 4 like Mod Thai rules, where it's like either shin pads or headgear or no elbows, but without any protection as well. So probably had about 4 of them Mod Thai rules, and the rest have been full Thai rules. So I was quite lucky. Well, I think I'm lucky because it was just good to be able to jump straight into sort of full Thai rules early. But I also understand as well for protection, and then of course as young kids, you don't want too much like hits to the head. Like I don't disagree with the rules now, but I felt like I was quite blessed to be able to jump hoops quite early, just to be able to do full Thai rules. And then when I come over to Thailand, it's not a new thing for me. It's kind of like, I've done full Thai rules before.
Yeah, you've already done it. Just before you came, I mean, we've mentioned your gym, Khao Sok. You've got a lot of actual ties, like ex-fighters. I met Billy from Billy Sangwon because he'd cornered Jordan. Jordan, and when Jordan fought Yodlev, met him. There's two brothers there now, Boy and the name's escaping me now. Gong Thailand.
Gong Thailand and Crew Yo, the big Yo. So man, very blessed. Darren's always been big ever since I started bringing in all these Thais, but now he's at a point where he brings in a group of Thais. So the whole gym's run by 5 to 6 Thais. And that's spread across 2 gyms, so probably even more Thais actually. So he's got 2 gyms in Perth, West Australia that are literally just all Thai trainers. So it's very good for us, very good for the next generation, because it's almost like we're in Thailand, like especially at the gym I train at, Forestdale, there's like chickens in the back, and it's like, it's literally, you feel like you're in Thailand.
What do you mean, as in fighting chickens, or just like normal chickens?
Just normal chickens.
Normal chickens.
The Thais got a lot of their partners here as well, that in Perth, Australia. So they've got their families here. So it's just like a Thai community, and it's almost like doing a Thai camp in Australia.
Okay.
So if you're ever interested in coming to Perth, Australia, look no further than Khao Sok, because it is like jumping into a Thai gym that's very similar to gyms that are here.
Sounds really authentic, to be honest. Like really authentic.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So who would you say has been your main trainer before you came to Thailand at Khao Sok, and how does the training kind of work there in a sense?
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of change. We started off in a shed in Darren's backyard. So it was a small shed, the gym was a lot smaller, and now it's at a big commercial property with like the 6, 7 Thai trainers. So I had a lot of change, but my main trainer through Muay Thai would be Jack 300, Komkit Chanawong. He's originally from Sangmorakot gym. A lot of the Thais actually trainers are from Sangmorakot.
Didn't he fight Roy as well?
He fought Roy Wills, yes,
yeah.
3 times I believe. So he hasn't fought. I think he's kind of done with fighting now. But Jack was sort of my main trainer. Similar height, very like explosive, and his style was very like I replicated his style. So he was still good with his hands, fast kicks, and like very tricky. Mm-hmm. So I was very lucky. That was my pad holder, so I got to adopt his style. And then my longest trainer there. And then before I sort of switched codes, and then now I'm back there. The main trainer I'd have now is Payak Samui. He was a Thai fighter.
I know him. So when we were at Keerthontip, me and Albert Xavier. Albert and Anthony Trejo from Young Bulls from Melbourne.
Years ago, I met him in the Philippines originally.
Okay. Okay. Crazy guys, those two. We used to go to a sauna in Bengal, and Payak's gym was literally right next to it.
True.
Yeah, it was a little small little gym, and we saw him one day. He was training there for a Thai fight, and I'm not sure, but I think Anthony was meant to fight him, but he didn't, for some reason, didn't come through in the end.
Yeah.
But no, he was a great coach, awesome coach.
Yeah, I haven't spent too long with him. Like I'd done one camp with him. It was a kickboxing match though, and even he's like, man, next one do Muay Thai, and I still took an MMA fight, so he's still probably on my case. So do Muay Thai next because it just makes sense because that's my coach and his style's Muay Thai, so that's where I'll get better at it. But his style's very war merchant, like walk forward, and that.
But he's clever though. He's clever, man. He's a clever practitioner. Yeah,
man. So it's cool. I want to spend a bit more time with him, and it's just good because since I stopped with Jack many years ago, I haven't had that. I've trained with the Thais down there, but haven't clicked with one where I've gelled where the style is very similar. Now Payak's there, so it's cool. I just need to spend a bit more time with him to learn some of those skills and get the sharpness back in Muay Thai.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. So you had a few fights in Australia, and then you went to Thailand. You fought somebody that I trained with actually, Zach Ennison from Riddlers. Yeah. I was like, wow, those guys, they fought each other. That's mad. It's a small world.
It is Zach's been in it for years. I got him when he was young, like young boy. Like twice I fought him, and now he's a lot bigger, so wouldn't be fighting him these days, and he's grown into an adult and doing really well for himself.
Yeah, I think, and I might be mistaken, but I think him and Kian fought each other as well.
Yeah,
they did.
That's it. So they're very similar weight in the new generation, like where Zach's grown into an adult now, and it's him and Kian, had some absolute wars, man. So that was always a good scrap seeing them two fight.
No, they're great fighters. They both got great futures ahead of them as well, for sure.
Agreed.
So let's bring this back to you. So you've had a few fights in WA, about almost 10, and then you go to Thailand for the first time to do a long stint. Can you talk about how your Thailand journey went?
I always wanted to do a stint in Thailand. I remember being here on a family holiday prior, around 11 years old. My brother actually did like a week. He stayed at a gym in Chiang Rai, and so he got to immerse in it. So I've always wanted to do it, and then when I could, like I was 17 years old at the time, and I wanted to come to Thailand, so I booked a 3-week trip after my studies, and I had 2 mates come with me, and I was just kind of looking. I wanted to train in the north, closer to where I'm more comfortable with, so closer to Chiang Rai. There was no gyms at the time in Chiang Rai, fight gyms. Went to Chiang Mai, which is about 3 hours from like where I'm used to. Had a little look, and I was tossing up between the gym in Pai, True B at the time, or Santai, because their websites had a lot of information, seemed good, and I ended up choosing Santai because they were very responsive with my questions, and that's how I picked Santai, man. Good website, responsive with my messages, and then just decided to do a 3-week trip there, hoping I could get a fight, and then went with 2 mates. It was kind of like, first time in Thailand. I was 17 years old, first holiday, like with a couple of my mates. So we're kind of like half training, half partying.
I heard a story from this absolute monster from New Zealand, Max Kirk.
Matty Kirk.
That you guys, Matt, right? That you guys used to race each other around the one-way system, going the wrong freaking way. In Chiang Mai City.
It was wild. It was wild, man. Young and dumb, and got through it though, and still had a fight there, done well, and spoke to the owners there, and they knew, even though I wasn't too consistent with the training at the time, they were impressed, and the owners of the gym wanted to start like a fight team there. So when I got home after a few months, I got a message saying, hey, do you want to come back? We can support you to stay longer as a sponsored fighter. And I really wanted to do it, so then I ended up doing it.
So how did the sponsorship work in particular? You got free training and then...
Yeah, just the free training side kind of things. Free accommodation, free training. I can't remember if food was included, because they did have food included for a bit, and then they decided to stop the meals where people could just get their own, since there was heaps of shops around. So
that was always the issue, because for people that don't know, I actually trained at Santai years ago, and that was, I mean, it was a great place to train, but the only problem was, because I was used to being a kit front tip for such a long time, they cooked your food and everything's there, but then you had to go out and get your food. But like you said, there were lots of places to go eat at in San Kampang, which is the little town that it's in.
Because when I first went there, I got the food meal, so it was after training, you had meals with everyone, then dinner was the same thing, and you just sort your own lunch. But and then I think the second time I went, they kind of stopped that because more restaurants opened up, and we just sorted it ourselves. So I can't remember if that was provided, but anyway, I ended up doing a longer stint. I was studying at home at the time, uni, and
what did you study at uni?
I was studying criminology.
Oh wow!
Interestingly enough.
Funny enough, my uncle did that as a degree.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I like the name. I was, after finishing high school, I wasn't bad at school, and the natural progression that my mum always instilled with me, like go to university. And typical Asian mum, make sure you go to university kind of thing. She didn't obviously want me fighting, but still chose a degree, and the criminology sounded cool, as I was interested in crime and that. And to be fair, I didn't hate it. I kind of just finished it. So it was kind of good taking a break. You can max out, you can defer your studies for max 2 years. So, and you don't have to do it in one time. You can do like 6 months, which I did. The first time I went to Thailand, and the next year done the same. So it was kind of good, and I was balancing studies with part-time work and coming to Thailand and fighting. So it gave me a lot more time to focus on the sport, rather than sort of like doing the studies first then competing. So it was kind of good. For 2 years, I went back and forth to Santai, Muay Thai.
And you were still sponsored when you went back?
Yeah, so they covered the training. They have to pay for the training, and I was fighting a lot regularly, so I get a little bit of money, and it was just a good lifestyle, because it really brought my level up to a new level.
Let's get into the nitty gritty of the fights there, because I've heard some wild stories about you with fights. So how many do you think roughly you had, like when you were in Chiang Mai?
I think about 14 or 15 total.
See, that's a lot.
Yeah, the first 6 months stint, I did every 3 weeks. I got to have a match, which averaged out. Sometimes it was like a fight, then 3 days later you'll fight. But it was just, man, it was just awesome. It kind of set the standard and the precedence for taking these short notice fights even to this day, because it's wild. Like, you finish your training session hard week, hey, do you want to fight tonight? Like, yeah, all right, sweet.
But that actually happened to you, because Taylor told me the story where you'd done a 4 weeks worth of training, and then and then the owner would come out and be like, hey Daniel, you want to fight tonight? Or was it you want to fight tonight, or you are fighting tonight because you're a sponsored fighter? So you are.
Nah, they always asked. I wasn't forced into anything. I had a good relationship with them that way, and but yeah, so it was kind of just like that. Do you want to fight? It's kind of like, yep, kind of thing. And then it just got to a point where like sometimes you'd say you'd you get offered a fight and you say yes, but then the fight won't happen. So you kind of just didn't really expect too much, so you just kind of took a fight as when you got it, and then it doesn't matter if you've trained already and you still have to fight. Like a couple of fights up, you finish your training, you're exhausted, and you're like, you want to fight tonight? Oh yeah, all right, sweet.
So when you were fighting in Chiang Mai, so it's not the same as when you fight now for like one championship where there's weight cuts and you're literally just rocking up to the stadium. They're like, yeah, you're about 56, 57, that guy's about the same. They just weigh you up by eye, not with the scales. You know, it was like that, right? And then you just...
Exactly, man. The amount of times where you're fighting him, you look at his legs and you're like, what the fuck, that guy is huge. Like shit, you shit yourself, you touch gloves with them. But yeah, a lot of times, as long as my styles always put the pressure on no matter what, that always helped me get through. Because a lot of the Thais, they fight regularly as well, so they want to like outpoint you, play round 3, round 4, but my style was always just go hard and never give in, and it worked for me, but sometimes it didn't, because sometimes you just fought some really good guys. But amazing experience, a life experience to be able to go all around northern Thailand, even the south of Thailand, and fight all these province shows.
You went to the south of Thailand as well?
Yeah, a couple times, because my coach organised it for me, because I want to go to like full moon party and stuff, and it's kind of like, I need some money, so can you organise me a fight? I'm going to be down here. Like, yeah, I can hit up a promoter for you. And a lot of the Thai trainers are connected.
Yes, they all are. So who was hooking you up with fights in the south?
Krusak.
Yeah, I never met him, but I heard lots of good things about him from Taylor, because he said that he really helps Taylor's clinch. He was just elbows and stuff like that.
A bigger Thai. He was like a Channel 8 champion. He was from Pinsin Chai Gym, and he could speak sort of better English, and he had the connections in the south. So it's like, I hit up a promoter, so just get there on this date. You still don't know who you're fighting, and it's like, you're fighting this guy. And that fight was interesting. The first time I fought in Pet Buncha
and Samui and Koh Samui.
Koh Samui, that one. It was just kind of like, the guy that I was fighting was good, man. One of the best times I fought. And I remember being we were sitting in the same chair waiting to walk out. I had to wear it was Chewing, so I had to wear the Chewing. It was Chewing. Had to wear the Chewing shirt, and he's sitting there, and this Thai guy came up to him and was like, basically talking to him like, how are you gonna win? And he told him, I'm gonna knock him out with elbows in round 3. And because I can understand a bit of Thai, I was like, oh, no, you're not. And switched me, and then he came out hard round 3. I still got the scars from it.
Yeah, I can see.
He elbowed the fuck out of me. And then anyway, just survived, rallied back round 4 and 5 and got the win, and that was one of my best wins. What
was his name? Do you remember his name?
I can't remember. I got the photo, but he's definitely solid Thai, and he fought regularly there, so I'd have to get the poster of it. But that was one of my favourite fights, because the crowd was going crazy, and I was just getting hammered in round 3, and then to come back and then still be had this,
because that's a big deal. Because for people that don't understand, in Muay Thai, if you have a bad start, I mean, they don't really count the first 2 rounds in a 5-round fight over here. They don't really. It depends what happens. I mean, if one of the fighters gets an 8 count or whatever, then that they do count. They obviously count that. But the real points are made in rounds 3 and 4, and sometimes round 5, depending on how close the fight is. So 4's a money round that you have to win, and the fact that you came back like that.
Yeah, so I had this random corner, and he wanted to throw in the towel at round 3. He wanted to stop it, but my coach at the time, Darren Krivik, who was the owner of Cowsock, was actually there on holiday.
Oh, perfect.
So I got him to corner, and he's like, nah, do not do it. Because if he wasn't there, that guy who's a random trainer would have just threw in the towel.
But I mean, because that's one of the questions I was going to ask you. So you went all the way from Chiang Mai to Samui to take this fight by yourself, and at the time you didn't know that Darren was going to be there. You weren't like, Darren, you're gonna. So you didn't care at all. So there could have been 2 soy dogs in the corner. You would have just still fought anyway, right?
Yeah, the money is a lot better in the south. Obviously a lot more expensive, more tourists go there, so that appealed to me, and I really wanted to go to the full moon party. I really wanted to do that. I went prior, but so I just wanted to do it before I think it was the next month I was going back to Australia, so sort of like that's the whole reason why to go down there. And I met up with some friends there as well, so yeah, a bit of a journey, and then got that fight, and had my trainer from Australia there at the same time, so it was just cool. Got a bit of money, but the funny thing was I got elbowed. So the worst, probably, even you know how my face is now, like it was like, yeah, basically like this, but 2 times worse, because it was like really like everyone called me like Panda, even the people at the gym. Panda. I got 2 big black eyes, broken nose, and these scars coming around down the side of my head. So I went to the full moon party like that, because the day before was the fight. And just it was hard to get around.
I bet it was. I bet you couldn't see.
Yeah, because I was fucking stupidly drank as well. I was on antibiotics, and it was just a horrible time. But I always loved that fight, you know, just one of those ones I had to push through and keep going.
No pain, no gain. Pretty much. So when you were at Santai, because like you touched on earlier, all of the trainers, pretty much all of the trainers from there were from Pinsanchai. And Pinsanchai, for people that don't know, was a gym in Bangkok. It's still going today, but not to the same magnitude as it was when it started off. It's run by a guy that was really high up in the police. And all of the fighters there were very good, very technical fighters. They had like perfect technique. They used to train super hard. I mean, when I was there, you had Kru Nan, Kru Dang.
Kru Dang.
There were some brothers that were there as well. Golf and Keng and Manasak had just started there.
Kru Pon and Kru Lop, the 90s, Pon Nara. Pinsanchai, Virapon, I can't remember what they called him, but he was like known in the sort of the 90s golden era, just for their style of just wicked technique, and just that hard training that they did. But yeah, I heard a lot about the Pinsanchai sort of crew, and that's what Santai tried to bring in, that style. He only wanted trainers from that gym, and that's why a lot of I guess I'm a bit different. I know the owners didn't really like my style, because I was very like in and out, punch, low kick, jumping around a bit. But definitely like it's a place to learn traditional Muay Thai.
So who was training you in particular, or was it just Sak, or did you?
No, it was a change, but mostly Kru Dang was my favourite, man.
Oh mate, that guy, I know. But hopefully I can find some pictures of him. I've actually, it was his birthday the other day. Actually, I've got him on Facebook.
Oh shit! And you still keep in contact with him?
Well, I haven't spoken to him in ages. He probably doesn't. So when I met him, we're talking 9 years ago. This is back in 2015.
Yeah.
And I couldn't speak Thai the way I can now. I mean, I can speak it okay now, but I can read and write it now, like better than I couldn't read and write it, not to a very good level. I can like make out pretty much. My pronunciation will be all over the place, but I can try my best at reading most stuff, and I can write basic sentences.
That's really good.
No, I mean I'd love to get in touch with him, but this trainer that we're talking about in particular, absolute rock star.
He's a rock star.
50 odd years old, he could kick you anywhere in the ring. And he was an absolute character apparently when he was a fighter too. He used to completely school all of his opponents, and then would go out on the piss for 2 weeks. They wouldn't see him. That's
what they. He's one of those fighters that could have been like an absolute legend, but he had just that wild side to him. It was hard to get him to training. He had girlfriends. Like he was just one of those guys, and he could never read Thai, but he was one of those person, you take him somewhere once, he'll remember the directions. Like he was very street smarts, I've always heard. But yeah, absolute character, and definitely shows in the pad holding, because like you think you're going to hit him and he'll catch it, and just unpredictable. And I like that. It just brought a lot of new sense into my style, which is kind of like be a bit tricky and like be a bit unpredictable.
Yeah, no, he was really, really good. Really, really good. Awesome fighter and awesome trainer too. So when I got there, just touching on when I got there, this is quite a funny story. So I'd been training with Andy Housen. I'd been doing PTs with him for a while. Yeah. So I was quite close with him, and in the same year, the same year that I went to Santai, around the same time, is when you fought him.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, right?
How's that for a small world? Yeah.
So I get there, and I know that Andy's fighting you, but I didn't know too much about you. So I get to the gym, and they're like, oh, our friend Mini T's fighting Andy Hausensma. I was like, oh yeah, I've been training with Andy. And they're like, what do you reckon? Do you reckon Daniel's going to win? And I was like, well, I'm obviously on Andy's side.
Fuck no.
But talking about that fight in particular, that was such a good fight between you guys. And so before you even started fighting in one, whether it was MMA gloves like for MMA or for Muay Thai, that was when John Wayne Parris started his cage Muay Thai, and you'd won the belt in that. Yeah,
so that was cool. I obviously known about Andy Housen's like one of the top, like the goats of our divisions back in the day. Him and Damien Trainer, you know, like that 55 to 57 kilo division, they sort of ruled it outside of Thailand. And that division in Thailand is very competitive because like I'm average height in Thailand.
Right, average height and average weight, right?
Average height, average weight. So you got absolute killers in the 55 to 57 kilo division. So yeah, for outside of Thailand, there was Andy Housen, I always heard of, Dean James, the UK fighters, Damien Trainer. To get to opportunity to fight him, I fought. There was another dude called Aaron Lee, which was the top of Australia.
Yeah, they were talking about that on the commentary all the time.
So Aaron Lee and Housen were talked about to fight for years. Never happened, and then when it could, because I fought Aaron Lee on the CMT, the very first cage Muay Thai with the small gloves that John Wayne started, I beat Aaron Lee. And so then for a title defense, I got to fight Andy Housen. Yeah. And I've heard so much about him. And great, you know, we're still very like, I think I won, he thinks he won. So it's one of those fights. Very, very close. I could see how it could go either way depending how you look at it. But like, at the same time, it was just an amazing opportunity to fight him. And that was my second fight in the small gloves. And ever since those cage Muay Thai days, like I was just got the bug. I'm like, man, I love these small guys. This is my style.
Yeah.
Like, shit. Like, it's action. It's in the cage. And then when obviously my championship started with the Muay Thai, I'm like, damn, I want to do that.
Have you heard of Sean Clancy?
Yeah, Clubber Clancy. Yeah.
One of the funniest cunts you'll ever meet in your life. Oh, he's hilarious. Sean's a wild man. You two get on so well. He would take last minute fights like that.
No shit.
But he did cage Muay Thai in Ireland.
Yeah, I know they did it then. Yeah.
And he was saying to me and a group of people at Kirpon a few years ago, and he was like, well, I trained Muay Thai for it, but as soon as you hit someone with these small gloves, you're like, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to bother doing Muay Thai. You just realise how much power you have with these MMA gloves on in Muay Thai. You're just going for it. It's brilliant.
Man, I got that bug up. That first fight, I remember getting hit a few times, and it was just a different pain, and it was a quick, like, the lights blinked. I'm like, holy shit, I can't defend. I have to go. And then, like, obviously over time I've learned how to defend a little bit, or maybe not, I don't know. You see my last fight, I still got clocked. But it was just, brought a different element. And being a fighter was like, it's like an addiction. Like, it was such a rush in that fight that's why it's my favorite style, because just the way I felt in those fights with those small gloves are absolutely wild, and that's why I love it. But there's obviously a bit of controversy. Like, some people would love, traditional Muay Thai with the big gloves. They don't like the small gloves and shit, but I think over time we'll see it get stronger and stronger, and the different style of training you need to do with those small gloves is very important.
Well, I hope so. I hope some of the gyms in Thailand will pick things up. But just going back, just before we move on, just going back to the fight you had with Andy Housen, how the hell did you survive that fight? Because I've trained with them, I've trained with Andy, and they throw low kicks in a very different way. Instead, they don't throw the low kick in a traditional way where you turn your hip over. It's a soccer kick.
Yeah, he nearly stopped me with him. I was like, it was weird. I was like, oh, this, I haven't sort of felt this before, kind of thing. And really strong low kick. And to be fair, like, after that fight, I'm like, fuck yeah, the low kick.
Right.
And then that suits the style with the small gloves as well. The fast, hard, low kick with the punches. I think that's working for people, rather than the sort of the Muay Thai style with the small gloves, a bit harder. So I think they adopted their sort of styles very adopted to the One Championship fight style.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a great fight, to be honest. I think both of you did yourself proud, really, in a way.
Yeah, hard fight, wild fight. He definitely had
he had the experience, I think.
the experience.
A lot of
He
experience.
just stayed in there and just finished off really strong. So it was just one of those fights. It was sick. It's just helped me grow as a fighter. I was a still young fighter making my name, and he was sort of coming out a little bit, but I still keep in contact with Andy. He's just a nice dude, and
He's a good coach, man.
he obviously thinks he's won. I think I still won, so it's just always going to be one of those things we agree to disagree. But solid fight, man. Solid fight.
So after that, how long was it? So this was 2015. When was the first? So between then and going into One Championship, did you start going into MMA between?
Yeah, I already did. Love those gloves, and after being unsuccessful in the K1 in Japan, I thought it was a good time.
Yes, no way. So I remember that because we all watched that. We paid the subscription to watch you fight in that tournament, and you fought a Japanese guy, right?
Yeah.
In the first round. Yeah. And they took it to an extra. Did they take it to an extra round?
No, they didn't. They didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
They robbed you. They robbed you. Because there was a Portuguese guy that fought on the same.
Rui Botelho.
Was it Rui?
Yeah, it's Rui.
Fucking hell. So they put Rui in. So basically, people that don't understand, or people that don't know, there was a tournament in Japan. Was it with K1?
Yep.
So it was a K1 tournament, and it was pretty much Japan versus the rest of the world.
Yeah.
But they pretty much, in Japan, you've got to win by fucking knockout to get anywhere.
Yeah.
To win any fights
That
out
old
there.
saying, you have to win by knockout to get a draw. No, but this fight, so Takeru was in this division.
Okay.
So
who just fought Super Leg?
Yes.
Same Takeru.
So same Takeru. It's a 55 kilo tournament, and I think that's when the K1 World Grand Prix, they just started a new brand with K1, and they're doing it again 2024. I don't know if you heard, the K1 sort of revamped again.
Yeah,
we were going to be the first one, the 55 kilo, then they had a 60, then the 65, then a 70. So anyway, it was a sort of a revamp of the K1 days back in Japan. Got to go over 8-man tournament, and then I fought a dude called Shota Takia, and then so lost the decision in that one, and then so my opponent got to face Takeru, and Takeru dominated him, and then he ended up winning the title. So it's kind of like, shit, damn, that was my opportunity. I wish if I won that, I would have fought Takeru, because he's one of the best kickboxers ever. But also blessing in disguise, because I think he would have wiped me as well, his kickboxing style. And but the thing was, because I'd done, they still recognized, okay, they didn't give me the win, but they still were like, I guess you've done good enough to impress people. And then they brought me back for a world title eliminator to fight Takeru. So there was another guy that was supposed to fight in the tournament who didn't. So it was me versus French dude, and the winner of that will go on to fight Takeru the second time. So that was my second K1 fight, and I lost that by knockout. Like, bugger. That was a big wake-up call, that fight. Then after that fight, I'm like, shit, man. That's when I had a bit of a break, started doing BJJ. And then that's when I'm like, all right, now's a good time to do MMA. Yeah.
You've not done too bad in MMA. Like, you've had nine fights now, right, in MMA?
Eight fights. Yeah. Oh wait, no, you're right. 6, 7, 8. No, nine.
And you're 6-3.
Yeah. Recently, now 6-3. But yeah, just always one of those things where, because I still want to do Muay Thai, it's just hard to sort of grasp and let that go and be like, let's just concentrate on MMA, let's stay at the gym, let's work on your weaknesses for longer periods of time, because this one, last year did kickboxing, now it's the last 3 months I've been working on my grappling. It's not enough to fight at this top level. You know?
I was going to say, because what was the real reason for doing MMA? Was it because you wanted to challenge yourself? Was it the money?
Yeah, but exactly. The challenge, I've always been an MMA fan. I've always wanted to finish Muay Thai, then jump to MMA. So when I was unsuccessful in K1, that was the top of the money I could get for my sort of weight division. So I thought now's a good time to try it. There's an MMA gym that was open right next to my house. So I think the timing aligned, like let's give it a shot. And then just stayed with the Australian scene and done MMA. And then, but then obviously, won championship, brought out the Super Series with the Muay Thai and the small gloves. I've always loved those fights. And then when I actually hit them up, I told them I can do all three sports. They gave me the Rodtang fight. And then I fought Rodtang and I had so much fun, man. I'm like, fuck, all right, my brain now. I'm gonna do Muay Thai, then my vision board is like Muay Thai, then I can do kickboxing, then I can do MMA, where MMA being the last one because I know I need to work a lot longer with my grappling because my brain's still very much Muay Thai, but it hasn't been that way. They give me a lot of MMA fights, which at the end of the day, I'm just happy to fight, man.
Yeah, I thought so.
It's been a bit of a short straw because obviously had a few losses now, and it's kind of like, all right, well, you need to start thinking about this now. Like, you really should just concentrate on the one sport for your skills and maybe not fight these fucking top guys when you haven't been committing to your weaknesses in MMA. So right now my head's like, just stay with Muay Thai because I really would love to fight Muay Thai at Lumpini. Like, it's been, ever since fighting Rodtang, like I've always wanted to do another Muay Thai scrap in my weight division.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at now. I'm like, all right, I gotta get it out of me because it doesn't, my Muay Thai style, going to my Muay Thai gym, then going to my MMA gym, doesn't really do me any favors, man. I'm a bit of a heavy hitter, and I want to scrap with Muay Thai and walk forward. But in MMA, I think you can't really bring that style of fighting at the top level because your takedowns are just there pretty easily.
What's it been like learning the grappling? Because for me, I've never been interested in doing BJJ. I mean, Jesse, my coach from Shin Kick, that's the gym that I go to in England.
Right.
He's had BJJ classes on there for years, and I've been like, nah, I'm cool. I like clinching, man. I love to clinch. I love the clinch, but I don't know. I mean, doing BJJ just doesn't really do it for me. How are you getting on with learning the grappling? I need to be a bit more persistent with it because it is hard. Like, if I still want to fight Muay Thai, I'm still obviously at my Muay Thai gym a lot. And so to gain skills in BJJ, I'm just not there enough. But at the moment, because I still want to fight Muay Thai, like I enjoy that training more. I like going to the Thai gym a bit more. So it just definitely has this impact because I'm not doing the ground game enough. And then you fight the best guys who just take you down and they just, dominate you in that sort of area. That's all they need to do. That's all they need to do. They can just take a couple of punches and take you down. And then you're in their world.
And that's my fault too, because I've been wanting to do Muay Thai, MMA for years, but not putting that grasp into, all right, let's spend 6 months to a year on the grappling. It just hasn't been done because I want to fight Muay Thai, and I'm still going to my Muay Thai gym, so I kind of understand that now. It's kind of shit learning at the highest level. And at this moment now, it's like I'm still not going to stop the Muay Thai training until I get a Muay Thai fight. So right now my brain's like, if you were smart, don't take MMA fights now. Just do what you want. Stay with the Muay Thai and just get that out of you. And then maybe after a solid Muay Thai career, doing the one championship rules, maybe then I can come back to MMA and all right, let's just work on these differences, and that's kind of where my head's at with it at the moment.
Just going back to the Rodtang fight, because you didn't have a camp for that, did you? You took that on short notice.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
And that was during COVID, right? That was during COVID, so there was no crowd.
Yeah.
Just explain that whole journey.
Oh man, it's just a wild time. I always have that memory because doing MMA for 5 years prior and then not fighting much, COVID hit our state. We couldn't even train. We had to secretly train. But at that time, I wasn't really training. I was kind of training people because I couldn't go to my normal job. It was a lockdown. And just at the pub a lot, drinking Guinness. It's been so long, I needed to grab a Guinness while I was here. Yeah, so it was just, a long time since I'd done any sort of fight training, thought about fights, and then randomly after pub night I hit him up through the middle of COVID, just like, hey, I can do all 3 sports, thinking that they needed fighters to go because I had a Thai citizenship. I thought they did fights in Thailand, so I'm like, this is a good time, they might need fighters. And anyway, came back, I forgot about it after a few beers, forgot about it, and 10 days later I got the call, like got a message on my, I didn't have Facebook at the time, I deleted it, and on my business page, got a message from Timo.
Good old Timo.
Yeah, and then I was like, holy shit, walking the dog with my partner, I'm like, holy shit, One Championship want to speak to me, and that's when we're like, wouldn't it be funny if they offered me Rod Tang? And then little did we know, like that's what happened. And then of course I had to say yes. I was such a buzz, man. Like nothing's happening, in like so much uncertainty through COVID. Hadn't fought in a year. And then I got this offer to fight Rod Tang, to fly over to Singapore. It will be like covered. I'm like, fuck. It was just such a like, holy shit, fuck yeah. And then that time was just wild, man. Empty flight, doing all these COVID tests, like no one at the airport, and filling out all these paperwork just to get there. And I wasn't sure if I was going to fight him because the UK guy I was supposed to fight him, Jacob Smith.
Oh, okay.
It was just the back and forth with, can the UK come in, can they not? Because Singapore kept changing their laws.
Right. So it was because of so it wasn't anything wrong with Jacob Smith? It was entering the country?
Yes.
Right, I get it. No, okay.
Because there was an outbreak in the UK, so they're like, UK countries could come into Singapore. It just kept changing, right? And then 2 weeks out of the fight, they're like, yep, you're definitely coming. Bang, lock it in, marketing change, put my poster up. Yep, Daniel's fighting.
So you took the Rod Tang fight on 2 weeks' notice. You had 2 weeks to get ready, pretty much.
So basically, 5 weeks or 4 weeks prior to that, there was a possibility to fight him, and then so basically 4 weeks I was getting ready for a fight, and then they're like, but in the meantime, we'll make you can sign the contract to fight this Russian dude. Because we don't know if the Russian? It was
Tagir? Wasn't Tagir Khalilov? Tagir Khalilov. Yes. Oh, mate, you two would be a great fight.
Well, we fought each other.
Oh, you have fought each other?
2015, the IFMA World University Cup.
Oh, okay.
So, I got a win against him, but that was at 60 kilos. I know he's a bit heavier now, he's bigger. So that was funny. I'm like, I already fought this guy. Sweet, let's do it. Yeah.
Where did you do the?
It was at the National Stadium in front of MBK.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did the first University World Cup in
when was this?
IFMA 2015.
Oh, okay.
In April. Yeah.
Okay.
So I won that, and then I got the world title shot for the WMC world title. So it's a good win to have. But so Tagir, but then it was just kind of like, man. It was just, I was still getting ready and stuff, but it just wasn't until 2 weeks out, like, all right, you fight a Rod Tang, which I kind of thought Jacob got in. So it was kind of a weird time. And anyway, I was still training, but you don't really like get into it until like you know who you're fighting. Because I'm like, am I actually going? What's going on? And it was hard, man. Coming from nothing, COVID years, drinking a lot, to trying to get fight fit, like just had its issues, man. Had a sickness, had a hand injury. So for me, it was kind of just a wild story because I literally felt like 2 weeks out of the fight was when I actually started to have these. A solid camp, or like a solid 7 days before I flew out again.
But wait, so before you fought Rod Tang, you hurt your right hand?
Yeah, I've always had issues with this right hand. I mean, even the last fight, I gotta see that.
That's nuts, because it was one of the punches that you threw the most against him. It was the one that disrupted him. And when you fought Superlek, it was the same. You used the same one.
Yeah.
Right hand, whether it was a quick overhand or a quick straight.
The right side is definitely getting compromised. I'm doing a lot of strength building with it. It's been a little bit sore after this fight, but it's been an ongoing sort of injury. Had the opportunity to fight in Japan the first time in a promotion called Rise.
Yes.
And then I had my first cage Muay Thai fight with Aaron Lee, the first title that I got a shot at. So I beat him and I broke my hand in that fight. And then because I had the opportunity to go to Japan the first time, 3 weeks after, it's kind of like I'm not going to say no to that. So did the old, take the cast off. Yep, it's all good. Have a fight, mate. I was like, I'm not even going to throw this punch with this hand. The very first fucking bell went, and he kicks me. My automatic return was overhand right, and he like ducked his head, so it just made it 10 times worse.
Right?
No, this was Japan years prior.
Okay.
So that's what I said. It's always kind of manipulated since then, and then and then getting back into a few other fights, and then doing the camp at Rodtang. Had some grief, but yeah, it's just an ongoing sort of issue that I have, and getting stronger day by day by doing the rehab, but it's just going to be one of those things.
I'm not going to lie, like, I think that fight that you had with him, I think even he said it afterwards, like, you gave him probably a really tough fight, and he even said it on the commentary, like, no one's fought Rodtang like this before in one championship.
Yeah.
And, like, actually gone and fought him toe to toe. Imagine if you fought him again with a full camp.
Yeah, well, man, like, that is funny. Like, even though I didn't have long to prepare, I know that preparation, even the last 2 weeks, was the hardest I've ever trained. And I had a really smart coach at the time, Jason Kavanagh, to just pull it back. Right, you're injured, you're sore, so let's do some low impact stuff. What's the worst thing we can do? The air bike. So I was doing like three rounds of that 3 times a day, where I just max effort kind of thing. I've never done that before, because usually I train like 2 hours in Muay Thai. A long time we do the 10K run beforehand. This time was different. It's like, we don't need to do that, you're sore, so let's just see how much you can push yourself in 3 rounds. And we've done that 3 times in the day. So it was low impact but max effort. And I think that really helped me to be a bit more resilient and get strong with being able to take damage. Mm-hmm. Something I kind of take into fights now, but not as much as that sort of preparation for the camp. But also too, like, yeah, exactly. It was such a buzz, man. I've never felt that way going into a fight, because the COVID times, getting locked in the hotel, no crowd, like, it just brought a different element to bring out the best in me, and the best was still not enough to beat the champ. And it was just such a amazing experience that I felt like, if it's going to have one fight, it's going to be good, it's going to be this one. And I never felt that way before a fight, and how much I put into it, kind of thing. So, and to be fair, this is it was a war, so sometimes it's hard to come back normal after that. Mm-hmm. Like, when you've had a few more wars, like, you had a lot of wars, like, it's hard to,
especially in the small gloves, man.
Yeah.
Especially in the small gloves.
Getting hit by Rodtang might fucking make you, might change the way you fight the next fight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it was a great fight though, and like I said, I think he even said afterwards, like, you probably you gave him a tough fight and gave you a lot of respect for just standing there and taking it from him, because at one point you hit him with this right hand and he's just shrugged his, you know when they do this, when they just put their hands down there and they just pull a face, that you've hurt them, and they're like, okay, now it's on.
Well, the good thing too, because it was the COVID years, like, I was naturally sitting quite heavy, because usually I don't fight at that weight. I'm a strawweight fighter, as you've seen, but because I had so much time off through COVID, I was naturally bigger.
Yeah.
So when they offered me that fight, I need to lose, like, I didn't even have to lose weight. I was already at that weight, but I was naturally bigger. So it was kind of like, because when I fought super leg, I was staying at strawweight the whole time, and then I had to bumped up like 4 days before the fight. The power is different, but at least when I fought Rodtang, I was already naturally a bit bigger at that weight. Still not too big, but like bigger than I usually am when I fight at strawweight. So it did help taking these shots and giving it back to him.
But again, with super leg, that was short notice as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, very.
How short notice was super leg?
Well, I was training for a Muay Thai fight against Roy Botello.
Okay.
And literally on the Monday afternoon, I was flying out on the Tuesday, so the Monday afternoon I got the message and the call, and it all changed. So 5 days out from the fight, changed to super leg, and then that was different, because it's kind of like I was preparing for a strawweight Muay Thai fight, and then I changed to flyweight kickboxing. So I felt when I fought super leg, like, the power is different, man, and that guy's a different level as well.
But I still liked the game. I know, obviously, like, you lost to him, but I still like the game plan that you used. You circled him, you used the right hand a lot. you didn't want to stay in front of him because a super leg will just kick you to death.
Yeah,
if you stay in front of him. I thought it was a good idea.
Even though it would have been nice to try to trade with him, but we knew like I'm a strawweight. His power is going to be ridiculous. Even if I was preparing for that weight, it still would have been. He's strong at that weight. He's tall, so the only sort of game plan we practice is, all right, let's just circle right. And then when that failed, it's kind of like, oh fuck, what do you do? Just hope for the best through a punch, and that's when your heart sinks like as the rounds go on. You're like, man, I'm trying that thing, it's not working against him, and then get to round 3 and you're like, all right, let's just try go for him, and then
But I mean, there's not a lot of fighters like you that will just within a week. I mean, we just had it now with Sage Northcutt recently, where he made all the fuss in Japan about not having his coaches there, which I just couldn't understand. But that's something else. But there's not a lot of people that would just be like, yeah, all right, okay, I'll fight Superlek on a week's notice. So it's just, I mean,
I think it's a Muay Thai mentality. I think a lot of like Muay Thai. I don't know, Muay Thai spirit. It's the art of war, man. So you kind of just, if you had I've had a lot of fights where I've gone to short notice, one's in San Kampeng, or hey, you're going to this festival, you want to fight? It's not like, yep, because having those experiences before, and I know a lot of people, say like Tyson Harrison, he won't say no to a fight because he's the same. He's done all the province shows in Thailand, and you don't know who you're going to get. So you kind of just like, yep, I'll fight. Like,
do you get more of a buzz out of taking a last minute fight or fighting a big name and having a training camp to prepare for it?
I think I get more of a buzz just taking these last minute fights because it's just wild. It's like so much like, it's kind of like, you don't get these shots every day, so it's like a drug, it's like, fuck yeah, like something wild that you can't comprehend in your brain. So I think it's just like, it's just wild, man. So the wilder it is, the wilder the circumstances, it's kind of like, fuck yeah, that'll be sick. You gotta live the life to the fullest, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
So one of the things that has kind of happened to you and Samuel Bark as well was somebody else that I really like as a fighter.
Sam Decker.
Yeah. He spent a bit of time in Australia. It seemed like the two of you accomplished so much in Muay Thai, and then before One Lumpini's come around, you'd gone into MMA. Would you, obviously you've seen a bit of One Lumpini, would you be interested in fighting on it in the future if it was Muay Thai?
Oh my God, that's all I want to fight on. Or like just Muay Thai in general. It's like something that, like I said, it's always my first goal. In one championship after fighting Rodtang, all right, Muay Thai first, then I'll do the other sports, because I know MMA for me, I was at a level in Australia where I only had 4 pro fights, 3 in 1, so I knew I was at a level where I wasn't at the top level. I'm not going to say no to a fight, but now having the last loss is kind of like, okay, I really need to spend a bit more time with my weaknesses there. My Muay Thai style doesn't really carry on to MMA at the highest level. I feel that, I believe that. I lost my last one. So right now, I just want the Muay Thai. I want a Muay Thai fight. Like, I think that's my style. My last fight, I'm comfortable with standing and trading. Like, that is Muay Thai. That's what One Lumpini want to show. So I just feel like, that's what I want to do next. This year, that's kind of all I want. That's the only fight I'll probably accept now is the Muay Thai fights in one championship.
So there's some guys, I had a little look at your division today, and my eyes lit up when I saw these fighters. There's a lot more, but I picked 5, and I was like, I'd love to see you against Gong Chai from Tyson Harrison's gym, Javi Gonzalez, Freddie Haggerty, who's Jonathan Haggerty's brother, Prajan Chai, Joseph Laziri.
Yes,
they're all strawweight, I think. Strawweight.
Joseph Laziri. So I had 3 MMA fights, and I won my first MMA fights in one championship. I won my first 3, and I called out Joseph Laziri because I'm like, I want my Muay Thai fight, and that makes more sense because after the 3 fights MMA, I know that my next people I need to fight, they're all wrestlers. So like, I know I need to spend a bit more time in that area just as an honest thing of myself. And called out Joseph Laziri, and that was kind of teed up for that. And then he accepted it, and I'm like, sweet, all right, here we go, Muay Thai world title. shot at the title, fight him because he had the title at the time, and that fell apart. I ended up fighting another MMA dude.
How did that fall apart? Did he just get injured, or?
No, well, they just gave me an offer, like, do you want to fight this guy in MMA? And funnily enough, I kind of mentioned his name a few fights prior. Like, yeah, I would like to fight him because he's more of a striker. And and that fight didn't go too well at all. So I was like, fuck, kind of set me back. The Muay Thai never happened, and then I did kickboxing after that, and then it's still hanging on to that Muay Thai fight.
Well, it's possible because, I mean, Jordan Gustafsson, one of your teammate from Calsoc, he came over and fought Yodlet Pet last year on Lumpini. So there's fights. There should be fights there for you guys. Really.
Yeah, man. It's just how they want to market the division, and I will never say no to that because that's my natural. That's all I want now is a Muay Thai fight. The last fight, is comfortable standing up, but when it went to the ground, I'm out fish out of water, and I just want to do that Lumpini. Just let the hands go, not worry about takedowns. Let's just go.
The crowd is wild
go for war.
as well.
Yeah, man.
It's behind every shot. It's on Channel 7, and for people that don't know, Channel 7 is the biggest TV channel in Thailand.
Yeah.
The viewings, so the TV ratings for it are through the roof this year.
Yeah, it's the number. It's like out of all the martial arts or the Muay Thai, right? Channel 7 for the Friday night Lumpini, one Friday night, is like number one.
So I mentioned this on a recap that I did with Rob Cox last year. So the way the TV ratings work is if you get a 1.0, then that's good. That's good. If anything below it is not good, anything above it is great.
Yeah.
So ever since One Lumpini aired last year, it's got nothing but a 2.4 onwards, upwards. So the Rodtang and Suplet fight got 5.1.
Whoa.
Tawan Chine Super One card got 4.9.
Yeah.
And then this year we've been doing, I think the lowest that we've got is 3.1. Last Friday was 3.5.
Shit,
so it's just it's unbelievable. It hasn't been there hasn't been a show. The only show that's close to catching us is Thai Fight League, and the highest rating I think they had this year was a 2.7 because they had Sanchai on, which is quite obvious.
Well, not funny because I understand because there's two different brands. There's the one Friday fights and then the one fight night, which is the monthly main card, the one that I compete on. So that's the Prime Video in the US, North America, so the Saturday morning shows, but I know that doesn't air as good as the Friday night shows in Thailand. So like, for instance, say whoever's the top guy, say Tyson Harrison, we'll be in a taxi together. This hasn't happened, but I could have a scenario. There's more likely Thais to recognize Tyson than there is to me because I fight on the Saturday morning show, which isn't as popular on TV, but it still is compared to the Friday night shows, the one Lumpini.
And Tyson has also fought Sexan as well on that. But even though you fought like Superlek and Rodtang too. But no, dude, it would be great to have you on there. I really think it's possible. But it's just the problem is with One Lumpini, for people that probably wouldn't know, obviously there is an exception to the rule, but it's really there to find the next global superstar, for them to get a $100,000 contract to get onto the one fight night show, which is what you fight on. So it's but there are fighters that do fight on it, like Celeste is fighting in a couple of weeks.
I think it did, like the Lumpini shows, they still do the big ones. They had the Superlet Rodtang one where all the guys from the one fight night show fought on it. So that'll be awesome if they do one of those cards, but at the same time, like, I'm a fan of the show as well, so chuck me on. Like,
and it's in the evening as well.
Yeah, the morning show, I'm cursed, man. I'm not a morning person, it just goes to show. But fight me in the night time, all right, it's on. And just to have a Muay Thai scrap would be the next thing that's on my brain. Just like I need to do that. Like, it'd be a dream come true fighting Muay Thai at Lumpini Stadium.
Oh, I think it would be great, mate. I think you deserve it at least. With all the last minute fights you've taken for the organisation, they should at least give you that. That would be nice. Just there was something that your brother told me ages ago, and that was something I really wanted to talk to you about on the podcast. So after you have a fight, you do a lot of brain care, like aftercare, brain health, and not. I was really intrigued about this. I'd like you to tell me more about it, because I don't think a lot of fighters do that. When I used to fight, I used to have the fight and then go out and get fucking pissed afterwards, which is not the best thing to do. But what exactly do you do?
Yeah, man, recovery for me after fights is a priority, right? So I'm someone that's had a lot of wars in their career, but I've fought for over 15 years still. Usually when you have a lot of wars, like, you have a shorter career. But I'm not saying that's the way to go or justify it, because brain health is very important, and I know I'll hang it up when I feel like it's affecting me, my decisions in life, or my brain fog, or I feel like my mental health is getting impacted by fighting. That's when I know I'll stop, especially with my closest people, like my partner tells me, like, you got to stop, then I will. But because I'm always quite big on recovery after, do something called neurofeedback, which is a brain training software which helps you meditate. I do a lot of meditation, and the biggest thing I always like doing after a hard fight, we've had a few knocks to the head, even if it's just a little knock. Obviously don't spar for a couple of months or 90 days, and I do my neurofeedback, which is a brain training software, and the meditation, and then I also try to learn a new skill. So the neuroplasticity in the brain, I just know that when you learn something new, for me originally it's been like changing into southpaw, learning some different techniques, learning a new language. So the Thai one's really big at the moment. So when I go home now, I did have a knock in my last fight, not knocked out, but I still had a knock in the head. Big thing's going to be just spending a good few months of actually getting the tutors organised to learn a new skill. So the big thing for me after a fight is recovering the body, and if I had a knock to the head, it'll be training the brain. That's like a priority I put on, because I want longevity in this sport, and it's shown so far it's working. Any injury I've had, even in the wars, I'm healed through rest, meditation, and just upskilling.
So just talk about this software in particular. So is it hooked up to you? Like, how does the whole, so if you were going to do a session right now in this room, the meditation with the neurofeedback, what's it called? The neurofeedback software. How does that kind of play out?
So you get these EEG wires hooked up to your scalp and ear, and they pick up your electrical activity, and it goes through the software through the computer. So it's basically keeping you present the whole time. So when you have like a cortisol, like a electrical spike, so every time your brain changes state, the music you're listening to will pause. So your brain recognizes that pause, and it keeps you present the whole time. So through being present, and then the pauses is giving feedback to your central nervous system and brain of what's actually happening right now. So your brain understands, why did you learn about that pause, what happened when you changed state, and your own brain gets, it's like when you walk past a mirror, right, and like say you have a bad shirt on or your bad hair, and you fix it, and that's basically what the machine's trying to do. So it's seeing its brain itself in the mirror, so it knows how to make changes.
And how did you come across this, and is this widely available to other fighters? So if there's somebody listening to this that wants to do it, what would you recommend them, like how would they be able to do it?
Well, speaking to the actual one doctor, there's nothing proven to help with concussion. Like getting hit in the head, they don't know if any solution is going to be out there other than rest. So doctors usually prescribe you rest. So there's nothing proven that can help you. But for me, I do neurofeedback, and that is available everywhere. There's something I use called Neuroptimal Neurofeedback. They have trainers all around the world, so you just got to type it in neurofeedback near me. There should be like some sort of center that you're about. Like, I can't say for sure that it's going to help you with what might be going on, but it is used for traumatic brain injury. And it is good for your brain health, because it's brain training. It's like your brain's a muscle, so you need to work on it, and it's putting the presence in your brain.
But do you feel like it's helped you at all, and do you feel comfortable since you started doing it?
I think it has, man. Like, I can't prove it for sure, but I haven't stopped using it for the last 7 years now, and I know when I get a hard sparring session, I have brain fog, I'll jump on that machine at least three times, and then or just carry it on for a while until I feel better, because I notice when I do it, I don't get that brain fog, that anxiety sort of feeling, or like, oh, I can't think. And that's why people use it. The traumatic brain injury, people use it for that. So for me, it was a no-brainer to actually invest in a system so I can use it whenever I want to, and there's no harmful side effects of it. So if you overuse it, there's no determined side effects of it. So for me, it's just like, even if it's a placebo, it's working, and that's helping me at the moment.
Cool, man. Awesome. So I've mentioned some guys that I want you to fight. Is there anybody that you want to fight Muay Thai wise, or are you just like, I don't care, as long as it's Muay Thai in the small gloves, I don't care?
I'll jump up and weight as long as it's Muay Thai. I love fighting, and nothing more than I love fighting Muay Thai. It'll just be cool. Whoever they give me would be awesome. But yeah, it would be awesome. Like, I think it makes sense. Like, me and Joseph will be a good one. Joseph Lasiri.
Yeah.
And he's coming off a loss, and we both agreed to fight each other. We had a bit of hype behind us, doing videos for each other. So that makes sense. But yeah, man, I'm just willing to go with anyone. Hey, I just itch you for it.
I'd love to see it. I think that would be a good one to watch. I think you and Javi would be a good one too, because you're both. I mean, Javi's really impressed me since he started fighting in One Lumpini. Really impressed with the kid.
Has he had 2 wins now?
He's had a few. I can't remember how many, but he's had a few. He's done really well so far. But I think you guys would match up.
Yeah, well, you would know. You're freaking all in there. You know One Lumpini, so.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Listen to him. All right, let's go.
So, what's the plans for the future going forward? Like, what's the goals?
Man, my mentality now is like, after the last loss, I just know where I'm at in MMA, and it's still a long-term goal of mine, but I can't keep chopping and changing with it. It's either I stick with it or don't do it. And right now, my year this year is just Muay Thai. I just want to stay Muay Thai. I still go to my original Muay Thai gym in Khao Sok. Still want to finish it off there, but when it becomes time when I'm really satisfied with Muay Thai, then I'll make the transition back to MMA, but not be in between gyms and in between sports. Like, I'd love to just, perfect world, I'd love to do Muay Thai for the rest of the year, even in the most of the next year, and then I'd love to be like, all right, I'm satisfied with my Muay Thai fights and won, so now I want to transition back to MMA and pick up for where I left off.
But when you stop fighting, have you got any goals, any plans? Do you want to open a gym in Thailand? Do you want to open one in Australia? Like, have you thought that far ahead?
Yeah, or? 100%, man. Like, I would love, I think the gym in Thailand's been on my mind for years now. I mean, we were close to actually getting one, me and the family, to be honest, me and my brother. But that's still on the mind, but at the same time, we've got a business in Australia, so I'm working towards that in terms of recovery.
What is it? Plug it.
It's Altered States, we're a recovery centre. We've got saunas, ice baths, Perth, Western Australia. And from there, a gym in Perth, Australia makes sense after, and then obviously Thailand's just something that's just always on the mind. We'll see.
Not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
But you can still come over here.
Brother lives here. Ali, I know you can help me plug it.
I'll try.
I got a citizenship, so it'd be stupid not to sort of explore those areas. But I got a mortgage and a partner at home. We love Australia, so we'll see how it all goes.
Have to juggle it all.
Yeah.
All right, mate. Well, I think we pretty much covered everything. Is there anybody you want to shout out at all? Like any sponsors or anything like that?
Nah, man. Just shout out to everyone who's supporting me and tunes in to watch One. And anyone who's a supporter of martial arts. I love martial arts, so it's cool meeting you like properly, even though I thought I knew you like beforehand, Ali. But it's funny, same gym in Santai, and it's cool to have a pint of Guinness, which is my first pint since.
That's your second, actually.
Well,
that's your second.
Second since, so I haven't had drank in a long time, and I won't have anything more than that usually. But it's just, I'm just buzzed to be in Thailand. Freaking you know, in Bangkok, and the fight's done now. So yeah, just
mate,
laying low.
it's been an absolute pleasure. I wish you nothing but the best for the future, and thanks for giving me the time. It's been brilliant.
Pleasure.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, Ali. Thanks for everything you do.